Good morning, everybody. We'll begin today's session. The first question, you're given here a graphic and you have 4 options. You have to identify which of these 4 options fit in the missing part of the graphic. Okay? You have to identify which of these 4 options will fit in the missing part that we have in this image. Okay? Let's see the options now. Now, let's first see the graphic instead of the option. Now, what we can see here is very clearly the way the staggering happens between this box patterns that we are seeing, the square patterns that we are seeing. So, for instance, this square and this square, they are together. And after 2 rows, 1 and 2 rows, there will be another box which will be happening here, which will have this little bit 1 row stagger that is happening. Okay. So what that implies is we have in the missing part, we have a box here which will be completed, of course, like this. But after that, there will be 2 missing box that we see here. Yahan pe 2, and then there will be another box. So ye 2, there will be missing, these 2 won't be there, and then there will be another box which will happen here. So what that implies is that in the missing part, this corner has to have 3/4 of a square. Where do we find that 3/4 of a square happening? In option A, we do have that 3/4 of a square. In option B, we do not have that 3/4 of a square, so B is wrong. In case of option D also, we do not have that happening, so D is also wrong. And in case of option C, that is in place, so we don't have to worry about it. So A and C may say either of them will be the correct answer. When you compare A and C, there's one peculiar thing which is different is this part. This part is different. Now, in this case, this corner, we already know that the square box is going to complete its, basically it's going to complete its 1/4 part here. So naturally, the white line that we see above in C won't be there, and option A is the one which is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. An A4 size paper is cut as shown here and folded across the dotted line such that the 8 faces name P to W. It is further folded to make a small booklet for the purpose of a design. From the given option, we have to select the correct sequence of the pages. Okay. Now let's see this. Here, the paper is first folded in this pattern. Then these 2 faces are brought together like this, and then it is folded across. Now what happens between these, the second and the third figure is, along these 2 lines, both these parts will be pushed in together. When they are pushed in together, this is face T, this is W, this is V, and this is face U. And then I'm not worried what happens at the back, but this is how they were pushed together. When they are pushed together from this, it will be forming this, and then further, when they are pushed together here, this is W, this is V, this is U, and this is T. And then, of course, there will be some 2 papers, of course, numbered also happening on the other side. Once this is done, along this pivot edge, along this edge itself between U and V, which is this anchor, we are actually folding all the papers together, where ye wala edge aapka ye ban jata hai. This edge becomes this edge here, and then it becomes a booklet like this. So all these pages here will be folded, and then they will eventually look something like this, where आगे W आएगा और ये वाला जो edge है उसके पीछे आपका V आएगा. So naturally what it means is the booklet will start from W and will end with V. We'll just check for the options with reference to which are the options which start with W and end with V. A starts with P, ends with W. B starts with W, ends with T. C starts with W, ends with V, and D starts with W, ends with P. Which obviously means there's just one option which starts with W and ends with V, which is option C, which happens to be our correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. From the image below, the left image below shows Nandu's study room. The image is sliced in 9 equal parts. From the given option, we have to identify the correct set of images. Okay. We are given this left image. This is sliced into 9 equal parts, and then we have to identify which is the correct set of image from the given options. Okay. Now let's look at the options. Option A is a little bit of a problem because in option A, we find the earphones to be orange color versus in actual, the earphones are white in color. Okay, so A is wrong. With case of option B, we are not able to find any kind of difference because everything seems fine. That's not a problem because the sock, the bed sheet, the earphones, the book seems fine. So B could be a probable answer. With case of option C, we find this kind of a bed cover or bed sheet to be different, which this is yellow and this is yellow with a darker yellow strip. So ये वाला option C गलत है. With case of option D, we find this different with one thing which is happening different, which is a book to be of a blue color versus in the option the book is of orange color. So आपका option D भी गलत है. So we are sure that option B is the one which is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one now. You're given here, in this figure, you're given here two pigments, which is 100% pigment. This is a pink colored pigment, this is a yellow colored pigment. When this goes from 100 to 50% intensity, it becomes this much lighter in tone. Further, when you combine these two colors, we get this peach color, a skin color tone here. So what we have to find here is when this darker blue and black come together, they with reduced pigment at 50%, what will be the color tones here? And finally, what will be the, when you combine these two tones, what will be the color that we'll find at the end? Okay, that's what we have to find. The correct answer here is straight away option D. Okay, we'll move to the next one. We are given here a font Indian, which is written in one particular font style. We have to identify how will S come here. Which of the S from the options will fit in this particular font style. Okay. Yeah, let's look at the options. With case of the actual font style, what we find is the edge is the way it ends is always perpendicular to that edge. So we are looking at a 90-degree angle here. In case of option A, yes, this is a 90-degree angle, which is a tangent to the curve. With case of option B, this is slightly tilted here. This is also slightly tilted here. So B is wrong. With case of option C, it goes in, it's tilted. Clearly, it's tilted. Both are tilted in this direction. So clearly C is also wrong. And with case of option D, it's a half edge. We don't see anything happening on top. So D is wrong. So option A is the one which is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. A folding paper fan P is dipped in orange color and then red color is shown in the figure. Step 1 is orange and step 2 is red. Which of the options are closest representation of the fan? We have to identify which is the closest representation of this fan. All right. So what we can see is figure P when you unfold it like this, when this whole wooden part moves across and comes in this position, it will close off and it will look like what we see in step 2. In this position, if I'm dipping the fan, I will be actually producing this kind of a zigzag pattern that I'm actually drawing. I'll be able to get this kind of a zigzag pattern because in this position, the folds are getting dipped clearly. And versus when I rotate it and dip it, I will be able to get a single line drawing. Why? Because in this case, it's perpendicular and I won't be working with the folds. I will be working with the surface itself. So I'm looking for an option where the orange color has a line, a single line, versus the red color has a zigzag line on top of it. That thing is happening only in one case, which is option A. Option B may both have zigzag lines, which is wrong. Option C may both have single lines, which is also wrong. And D may again it's zigzag line, which is wrong. So correct answer is option A. Okay, we'll move to the next one. A painting was created on the road as shown in the image. From the given option, we have to identify the image that was used to plan the painting as seen from the top view. Okay. In this case, when I draw this situation of how it will be placed, if the painting, say if the painting is placed along this much part, say if the painting is placed along this much part, and the person whom we are talking about is standing here. In this position, the person will be looking at the painting like this, two parts. What will happen is the part which is farther away from this person, the part that is farther away from this person, which is the above part, ye upar wala part, which comprises of the word design. आगे वाला नीचे वाला part comprises of the word fest. Design will be have maximum distortion. So in terms of height, अगर ये इसका height x है, तो ये x से the actual plan view will be bigger than x and not smaller than x. With case of option A and B, it is less than x. So A or B wrong है. C and D, when you compare, this design looks exactly similar to what we see here, the height. So D bhi galat hai and option C is the one which is the correct answer. Also with case of option C, fest wala jo part hai has minimum distortion happening. It's stretched to minimal, which is also the case when the font is closer to the person, there will be minimum distortion and stretching. So fest wala part bhi sahi hai, so we are confirmed that C is the correct answer here. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Fatima is kicking the football. Identify the most appropriate illustration of the scene observed from behind Fatima. This is the front view. You have to identify how will Fatima look from behind. In this case, when you look at the ball size, it is bigger in size. It's very big in size. So from the back side, the ball will appear actually very small. The correct appropriate option for that, the smallest ball position will be option C, which is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Identify the correct silhouette of the colored dragon. We are given here a dragon. We have to identify the correct silhouette for this colored dragon. Okay. Here, let's look at all the options one by one by one. When you compare all the options together, what you will find is option B may the hair of the dragon. This hair of the dragon is in a different direction versus in A, C, and D, it's of a different direction. When you look at the question figure, the hair of the dragon is how we see in A, C, and D, so B is wrong. Next, when you compare A, C, and D together, there is one peculiar thing which is different. In C is this hand position and the white space that is there. If you look at this part, A or D may it's similar, C may it's different. The same thing happens here, which clearly tells me that C ka position is wrong. When you compare A and D together and try to find the difference between the two, you'll find D may this part to be different than A. We find that there is a claw, there is a finger missing for the dragon here. So D is wrong and A is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. A game board was set with multiple decks of cards arranged in such a way that the sum total of the cards on each sides are equal, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is equal to 10 cards. However, a new card was added on one side and the cards were rearranged to maintain this rule, that the sum total equals 10. How many cards can be added before the game ends and no more cards can be added? Assume that every position must have at least one card and the sum total of the cards must be 10. That rule must be followed. Okay, let's do this. So what it says is, I'll just explain it again. What this says is there's a number of cards. There's one card, there are 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards. This is not card number 1, card number 2, but it is giving me total number of cards in that space. There's 1 card here, that's why 1. There are 2 cards here, that's why 2. There are 3 cards here, that's why 3, and there are 4 cards here, that's why the number 4 here happens. When I add 1 card here in this position, 2 ke badle this becomes 3 cards. So that's why 3 is written here. In order to maintain the rule of where each side equals 10, that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equal to 10, when I add 3 numbered card, iska addition will be 11. जब ये 3 हो जाता है तब. So I will have to shift 1 card which is from this position to here to maintain the rule of 10. So I'll get some kind of a position like this. Now, if I were to continue this game like this, where I add a card in every phase and then I rearrange the cards to get each side equal to 10, how many cards at most can I add to this game? Okay, that's what we have to find. So this is how it will be. From the original position here, we move to the first position here, where like it was shown, red color means the card is added. Where yahan pe we add 1 card here on 2. Here we add 1 card. And then we have to rearrange this card to this position. So 4 ke badle yahan pe 3 aayega, and then 2 ke badle 1 card gets added, which is 3. Okay. From the first position, when I move to the second position here, in this case, I add a card here, which makes 2 ka 3 ban jata hai. And because this is 3 and this will add up to 11 here, I will have to transfer this card to this position in order to maintain the rule of sum of addition to be 10. So this comes here. From the second to the third position, when I go, I will add a card here in this position. I will add a card here in this position, which the 3 ke badle this is +1. And 3 ke badle this becomes 4. And in order to maintain the rule of addition to be 10, I will have to transfer this card here to this position. So 2 ke badle 4. Here it will be 3 ke badle -1, 2, and 3 plus 1, 4 will come. From third to the fourth position, when I come here, I will be adding a card on this side. 3 becomes 4, that's where. And in order to maintain the rule of addition to be 10, I will transfer this card to this position. Okay, that's where 3 becomes 2 and 3 becomes 4 here. Next, from fourth to the fifth position here, I'm still able to add 1 more card. I will add the card here in this position. So that's where there will be 4 cards here. And after that 4 cards, I will have to maintain the rule of 10. So I will move this card and shift it to I will move this card and shift it to this position. Okay. So 2 ke bade, this 2 will become 1 and 3 card will become 4 cards here. From 5th to the 6th position here, I will add a card in this position here. When I add a card in this position, this will become 4. And in order to maintain the rule, I will move this card to this position and this will become 1 and 4. After this, it's very difficult to add another card and then maintain that rule of 10. So that's where this game will end here and no more cards can be added. So 6 is the correct answer, which is option B in the previous options that were given. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Shown below are trajectories of 4 flies over juice glasses. You have to identify the fly that crosses over maximum number of glasses. To identify the fly that crosses over maximum number of glasses. Okay. So this is how the fly moves. Option A wala jo fly hai will move over 15 glasses, B fly will move over 20, C will move over 18, and D will move over 15. So the correct answer is option B fly number B. Okay. We'll move to the next one. A solid pyramid has triangular cutouts that pass through and through as shown in the figure. How many surfaces are there in the resultant solid? So we already know a square pyramid has 5 surfaces. I'm just going to write the 5 surfaces here. Plus we have to count the surfaces of the cutouts. These cutouts that are going to happen, the form of the cutouts will look something like this. ये जो surface है उसके अंदर ये cutout आएगा, which goes through and through, and then it joins another cutout of the opposite side here. This goes through and through like this and like this. So the cutout, each side basically will have how many 1 and 2 surfaces? ऐसे चार sides होंगे, 1, 2, 3 and 4 sides of the square pyramid, which makes it 8, and plus ये bottom का एक ही surface आएगा, so 8 plus 1. So 5 plus 8 plus 1, the answer is 14 surfaces that the resultant solid will have. Okay, with this I will end today's session here. Thank you so much for your time.